Hello. Talk about going deep today, seeing things clearly. I realized that while I'm kind of exciting myself with reading this and that, conversations, doing exciting stuff, not sleeping, doing new things, novelty, etc. It's like, let me get rid of this enormous bit of chewing gum. The thoughts in my head are somewhat superficial. It's like I'm still processing. I'm always processing that stuff, and so there's not much stillness between the thoughts. This especially happens when I'm at work, a busy environment with lots of stressed people, trying to get things done quickly, whipped up in a frenzy. When I'm in London, even when I'm kind of doing my diary and things I really like, there often lacks that kind of depth. I mean, it's there to an extent, but it's not there to the extent that I'd like it to be. It's all a bit fast-paced, And then when I meditate, I feel that's when I can sink in deeper. That's when I process stuff. Like just now, just after a kind of busy work week, I finished work and I was I'm about to meet up with some friends now, but I had an hour in between finishing work and that, and I went and sat and meditated, and wow, it was a real, almost a violent meditation, in the sense that I was kind of physically undoing all my kind of tensions and whatevers that keep me in that superficial state. Because that superficial state is something that happens physically, and it's like the tensions that happen in your body are desensitizing you to the world, and they're preventing an aware of like a more 360 awareness. And while while that's happening physically, the thoughts that happen are a little bit more superficial. Should do this, shouldn't do that, And then, as the meditation went on, it was like almost like I was vomiting out this, or maybe shitting out is a better description. It's like, because normally it's like you eat all this stuff, you eat all this excitement, and you need to digest it and you shit it out. So it was like, as the meditation progressed, I shat it out, and I was like, the end of it. A weird, lovely, emptying feeling. It's interesting because that's the feeling that I get immediately when I go out in nature. I don't need to meditate to be in that state. This is why it often feels like what I'm doing now, in sense of Alexander technique and meditation in London while working at GS, is like altitude training. Because if I were to do the stuff that I do now in the intensity I did now, while in a kind of in an environment without all the distractions, the depth would be quite something I would forecast. Then again, that would be a really raw encounter with myself. And perhaps the realization that that's the case is what is keeping me in London in some respects, keeping me in there with the distractions. Yeah, who knows? In any case, I just enjoy so much sitting and meditating and watching this process of unfurling, and just realizing again and again and again that I can just don't have to do anything. I just sit there and it happens. It's just so like I am genuinely becoming better at just sitting with my frustration and tiredness and whatever, just watching it happen and unfurl. Meditation just teaches you that. It's just sitting with it and just watching it unfurls so beautifully, and that unfurling is really, really interesting to watch.
That's like me for a phone, like photos of me around the city.
In terms of my writing, going deep is like, it's everything. I need to be able to access that state of mind where I'm like really at my best. And I remember a couple of years ago I was trying to write something while I was in Singapore, and I was really stressed a lot of the time there, and it took me months to write this thing. And I remember there was one day where I went out in nature, got super clear-headed, yada yada yada, and I read the whole thing, read back what I'd read in the last 2 months, written in the last 2 months, and I was like, oh my god, this is a load of shit. I can just see my mind was all over the place, so superficial, no big picture thinking. I wasn't able to look at the whole thing. That depth of thought is really something which, it's so... I hate, I suppose it's something I sort of lust after a bit now. I need to be content with having it a bit less, but I don't know. Let's see if it's something that I can feel in my life more consistently. I mean, I certainly do feel a lot more clear-headed as opposed to what I did previously a few years ago, but yeah, I can always more. Always more for me. Always take things to the limits. Good night.